In less than 72 hours since the landslide victory of BJP in the state of West Bengal, something that has happened for the very first time in Bengal's political history, yet instead of who would be the chief minister, what would be the government formation like, who all would be there in the cabinet ministry, instead of they making the headlines, unfortunately what has made headlines in West Bengal in the past 72 hours had been political violence, quite consistent with Bengal's political history. This time, it was no different. Suvendu Adhikari, one of the front runners for the chief minister's position, a senior BJP leader, his own personal assistant, Chandranath Rath, had been brutally murdered. Yes, had been brutally murdered. He was shot dead at Madhyamgram in West Bengal on the night of May 6 at around 10 in the evening. Chandranath Rath, every journalist you speak with here in Kolkata, they would say they must have spoken to him sometime or other. A very soft-spoken, humble a gentleman, a go-to person. Anybody trying to reach out to Suvendu Adhikari, and in case they can't get through his number, then Chandranath Rath is the man to connect with in case you want his interview, or if not anything, want to know his schedule for campaigning in this election season. I last met him on 24th and 25th of April ahead of second phase of polling, that too in Bhawanipur, as Suvendu Adhikari was campaigning there. I saw Chandranath Rath literally doing the Facebook Live for Suvendu Adhikari. Once again I say, a very humble and a soft-spoken man. Unfortunately, he is no more. Police have now described this targeted killing was nothing short of a premeditated ambush. Imagine, personal assistant of Suvendu Adhikari killed, that too in middle of the road, and that too at a time like 10 o'clock in the evening, not very late. That is once again brought to fore the questions about law and order situation, and most importantly, the culture of political violence unfortunately still existing in the state, no matter who you want to blame or who is responsible. CCTV visuals that we have accessed clearly indicate that it was a premeditated attack. Elections get over, results come out on May 4th, and in 2 days' time, on May 6th, the personal assistant has been killed. Why? Who planned it? How long was the planning for? Because police have been saying that this was a targeted ambush. And if you have to go by the police version, then in that case, there are several uncomfortable questions that would come before the administration, including the Election Commission of India, because there is still model code of conduct in place. There is still central forces in domination of certain sensitive areas. The CCTV visual clearly shows that Chandranath Rath was en route to Madhyamgram. Where he was going, no one knows. What was the mission? We don't know. Whether he was going to a relative's place or to his house, we don't know. He ideally hails from East Midnapur. That's where he's originally from. But yesterday, on Wednesday night, he was on his way to Madhyamgram. There are certain ambiguities as where he was going, what was the purpose, whether he was supposed to meet somebody who all knew about his movement, that he was in Kolkata in the evening, and also prior to that he had been at home just 2 days back, and that in Kolkata he had also visited apparently the state assembly, because BJP is now gearing up for the swearing-in ceremony slated for 9th of May, a ceremony that would be attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, by Home Minister Amit Shah, and all the top bosses, all the top brass leaders of BJP. So in such an environment, when there is heightened security across the state, when there is also certain volatilities observed in the past couple of days with sporadic incidents of political violence, with the fact that there are central forces still present in the state in order to thwart any post-poll situation, you have a situation like this, where the personal assistant of Suvendu Adhikari has been brutally killed, and again I use the word targeted killing, nothing else. The very fact that he was on his way to Madhyamgram, the very fact there has been a car now noted in the CCTV capture trying to follow, trying to trail his vehicle, raises uncomfortable question. Who leaked out details about his movement? whether he enjoyed any additional security, who all knew about his movement, and with whether any one of them had leaked out his personal movement information. If not, how long somebody had been shadowing him. Because in one CCTV footage, this one, you clearly see the white Scorpio moving, passing through this road, and in couple of seconds you see a greyish Desire vehicle following his Scorpio. Police suspect the assailants were in absolute coordination with those who were there inside this very car. The initial investigation suggests that the vehicles which have been used, they had tampered numbers. In fact, one of them had a number which originally belongs to somebody who is in Shiliguri. Now, somebody in a very meticulous manner had planned this entire attack, executed it, and thus the question, how long has the planning taken place for? And who all are involved in executing this attack? In a second CCTV footage that we have accessed, clearly shows a different angle, probably the moment when the attack happened. The car crosses this particular CCTV footage angle, and in less than 3 seconds after that, you first spot somebody on a bike, comes onto the frame, turns back as if waiting for someone to join him, and exactly what happens. In another second, another bike-borne person joins the man who was waiting for him, and then both of them move towards the car. From a distance you see the Scorpio has stopped. Question is why? Initial investigation revealed that this vehicle that you have spotted in CCTV footage number 1, that greyish sedan, that car had blocked his way. That car had come in the way of the Scorpio. Because the car came in the way of the Scorpio had no other option but to stop. Probably caught off guard, probably had no idea what's in store or what's coming in the way of Chandranath Rath. The vehicle stops. The bike-borne people, now suspected to be the miscreants and the assailants, get closer to the vehicle, and what police suspect, multiple rounds were then fired targeting Chandranath Rath and the man, the driver, the person who was behind the wheels. Chandranath Rath sustained multiple bullet injuries, 2 on his chest. He succumbed to his bullet injuries. The driver has also sustained injuries, multiple of them, and was rushed to a nearby hospital. From there, again rushed to a hospital in Kolkata. But Chandranath Rath did not get another shot to life. No one could save him. Even though he was taken to the hospital, doctor said he was brought dead. This CCTV footage is the damning evidence that clearly shows the execution of a planning, something that police, I repeat again, had been calling a premeditated ambush. In less than a minute, the entire operation was executed. And you also see 3 bikes moving towards the car, but then 1 bike returns on the reverse direction, and 2 people, purported to be the same individuals, were spotted on 1 vehicle now, suspected after they have completed their mission, after they have executed their assignment. They hopped into 1 bike in order to flee from the spot. Who are these people? What are their identities? Why did they kill Chandranath Rath? Was there any personal enmity, or was it all political? These are all questions that are answered as soon as possible. Police on their part are saying they are going through every CCTV in the near vicinity. They're also trying to go through a rigorous investigation, trying to follow CDRs, also trying to identify potential suspects and get to the bottom of this case.
We have started the investigation. We have seized a vehicle which was used for the crime purpose. On investigation, it has been found that its number plate has been tampered. The vehicle, actually, the number plate that has been used belongs to a vehicle in Siliguri, but actually it is a tampered number. We have seized from the spot few fired cartridges as well as live rounds. We are processing the information that we have got so far, And at this moment, I think it is the information. This is the only information that I can divulge at this moment.
A special investigation team has now been formed, comprising of officials, senior officials from the CID. The DGP is involved. The senior officials are involved. The SIT has been constituted. But at this point in time, we do not have a confirmation of any arrest which has happened. It's almost 24 hours since this brutal attack. But this attack has also laid open the fault lines yet again. The political animosity, the acrimonious politics that has always been a character of Bengal. At times it's Trinamool Congress versus the left, or left versus the BJP, or BJP versus Congress, or BJP versus Trinamool Congress, or Trinamool Congress versus the Congress. Every time a showdown of this kind happens, the casualty are people with flesh and blood. Suvendu Adhikari had rushed to the Madhumgram spot and then to the hospital where Chandranath Rath was rushed to. There was absolute chaos. Thousands of supporters of BJP had assembled over there. It is as it is, a newfound charged up situation. BJP has come to power for the very first time. There is euphoria on one hand. There is also excitement. There is also a sense of anger and anguish, because they have always maintained they have been victims of political violence at the hands of Trinamool Congress. So in such a charged up situation, you have such a high profile killing. Chandranath Rath was known to be the personal assistant, a very close aide of Suvendu Adhikari. This time, it has almost come very close to Suvendu Adhikari, something the supporters have seen as very personal a loss, and the reason why the emotions were personal and the expressions equally. Thousands of supporters assembled outside the hospital. Suvendu Adhikari had come down along with other BJP leaders, be it Dr. Shukanto Mojumdar, Kaustubh Bagchi and others. They all tried giving out the message that political violence will not be tolerated. Suvendu Adhikari, in statement number 1, had said that they are not coming to any conclusion as of now, that they would want a fair investigation by the police and that they would want everyone to get to the bottom of this case. At the same time, Suvendu Adhikari had urged people to maintain peace.
इसने इन्वेस्टिगेशन चालू किया, स्टेट का आया, हम लोग बहुत पेनफुल हार्ट दिल्ली से हमारी जो इंसिडेंट हुआ फैमिली के साथ पुलिस के साथ बात किया है, पार्टी की ओर से ऑनरेबल एमपी पार्टी का और कम से कम 20 हुए विधायक सब अपने छोड़कर ये जो हुआ है परिवार का साथ और हमारी वर्कर का साथ रहने के लिए आया है। हम लोग इंतजार करेगा, पुलिस ने को मिला है, पुलिस की कार्रवाई करेगा। डीजीपी देख रहा है, एक हमारे आईडीएस लीडर भारती जी ने पुलिस का जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन और एजेंसी के अंदर क्या है हो सकता है वो उसके बारे में जानकारी 15 साल का महाजंगल बीजेपी सरकार गुंडा को सफाई करने का काम शुरू हो जाएगा।
In a way, in his first statement, he did not directly blame the Trinamool Congress. But in 12 hours since then, the following day, that is today, Suvendu Adhikari had gone back to the hospital once again. He expressed solidarity with the bereaved family, expressed his condolences, but this time he said that Chandranath Rath was targeted because he was his close aide and it was he who defeated Mamta Banerjee at Bhawanipur, and that this was a possible revenge attack.
हाल ही जो चुनाव हुआ नतीजा आया, भवानीपुर में ममता बनर्जी को हराया, यही कारण हो सकता है, इसका कोई बात नहीं है। मैं उनका परिवार का साथ दूंगा और परिवार का जो डिमांड है तुरंत इसको जो किया है उनको हिरासत में लेकर चार्जशीट करके कॉन्विक्शन दिलाना, एक प्रक्रिया में भी मेरा जो जिम्मेदारी है मैं निभाने का काम करूंगा।
पोस्टमार्टम आप करवा के आए, क्या कुछ पता चला है?
पोस्टमार्टम डॉक्टर ने किया, डॉक्टर लोग ने बाहर आकर बोला उनका बॉडी से 4 बुलेट निकला, सब हार्ट जो है हमारी हार्ट का माने अगल बगल में जितना भी पैसेज है सबको टारगेटेड करके किया है और बहुत क्लोज मर्डर है, बहुत नजदीक से गोली किया है और पूरा जैसे ओटी का पहले डॉक्टर ने पिन पॉइंट करता है ना, ये लोग भी पिन पॉइंट किया कहाँ गोली करने से उसको तुरंत मौत हो जाएगा, ये पूरा प्लान करके किया। ये बहुत स्पेशलिस्ट और खूंखार खूनी है, आतंकवादी है।
Trinamool Congress had issued a statement on the very night of the attack. Trinamool Congress, in a long statement, had condemned this brutal murder of Chandranath Rath, but at the same time, unequivocally had also condemned the killing of 3 other Trinamool Congress workers, as they say they have equally been victims of political vengeance. Trinamool Congress has now demanded a court-monitored CBI probe. Just a couple of days back, when Trinamool Congress was in power, it was BJP asking for a CBI probe. In changed role and shift of politics, it is now Trinamool Congress demanding a court-monitored CBI probe, in a way expressing distrust over the state police, a role that has been performed, a quite similar one which had been performed by BJP when they were in opposition. Nonetheless, police investigation had been going on and it is a total crackdown, multifold, multi-state investigation now on. They're also trying to monitor just to ensure that every border is properly checked and no one escapes. But it is imperative to say that while the political blame game is on, let's spare a thought for the family of Chandranath Rath. The mother looked visibly distraught, an elderly mother whose only hope had been the son. She has lost her son. She broke down. She broke down remembering the last time she met him, how she had insisted that he should have food before leaving, and how Chandranath Rath had promised her that he will come back home very, very soon after the swearing-in ceremony. That homecoming is now forever pending. The mortal remains of Chandranath Rath, a former Air Force veteran, has gone back home. And obviously, this is first in a hearse. And of course, it is thus the last journey.
আমি চাইছি দোষীরা শাস্তি পাক।
কি শাস্তি চাই?
আমি একজন মা, আমি চাইবো না তাদের ফাঁসি হোক, কিন্তু যাবজ্জীবন কারাদণ্ড চাইছি।
Well, there could be several questions on the mysterious killing of Chandranath Rath, but then those questions also come from the fundamental of an existing culture of political violence in the state. In the past 72 hours and more, at least 4 people have lost their lives, 2 Trinamool Congress workers and 2 BJP workers. In Nanur, Trinamool Congress worker Abhishek, about 40-year-old, he was hacked to death. In Rajarhat, BJP worker Madhu Mandal, who was part of a victory celebration, even he was brutally beaten to death. In Udaynarayanpur, Howrah, Jadav Baud, about 45 years old, again he was part of a victory rally when an attack happened and he was beaten to death. And in Kolkata's Beleghata, Bishwajit Patnaik, about 44 years old, he had stepped out of his house for a phone call and at the very doorstep, he was brutally killed. 4 people belonging to 2 different parties, belonging to 2 different ideologies, are now united in death. 4 families separated by political ideologies are now united in grief, sorrow, and loss. And thus, it is imperative to highlight this very aspect. While political violence had been the unfortunate introduction of West Bengal for decades now, while political violence has unfortunately been the legacy of of West Bengal, but then who are the victims, and how do you separate these victims after they have become victims? How can we separate a bereaved family of Trinamool Congress from that of BJP? How can we separate the pain of Bishwajit Patnaik from that of Madhu Mondal's family? Bishwajit Mondal's family is also yearning to see him once again. Similarly, Madhu Mondal, the BJP worker who was brutally killed, even his family too is dying to see him once more. The unfortunate story of political violence has repeated itself in 2026 once more. Well, Election Commission may say that there had not been much instances of political violence in the run-up to election, but then it was the same Election Commission who had in a way assured that there would remain absolute deployment of central forces even after election, so that post-poll violence like what you have seen in 2021 doesn't get repeated. But political violence has once again raised its ugly head, and thus the question is how and why. Who is responsible? Where will the accountability be fixed? Lot of narratives doing rounds. This party is responsible, that party is responsible. Somebody is calling this a handiwork of Trinamool Congress. Trinamool Congress is saying that their workers have been brutally killed, houses have been looted, vandalized, shops ransacked, and bulldozer had been put out on the street to intimidate people. Poor hawkers, their shops have been vandalized because they were all Trinamool Congress supporters, and that they have all been done by BJP. So yes, there's political blame game from both sides. But who are the sufferers? Who are the sufferers? The sufferers are the voters. The political parties stay. The leaders stay where they are. But on the ground, people die. Families suffer. Poor people suffer. Nobody else. And many say, this character of political violence can only change when people realize the importance of life. That tomorrow they can once again become neighbors. But today, by fighting over politics and difference in political ideology, they're simply scarring the neighborhood and the brotherhood feeling. From Nanur to Beleghata, from Rajarhat to Udaynarayanpur in Howrah, there are stories of political violence that has united a state once again. And finally, compelling the state to ask this question after the brutal killing of Chandranath Rath. When will all of this end? When will all of this end? When Trinamool Congress was in power, BJP said they are victims. Now there is a shift in power, yet political violence is on. And unless people of Bengal realize the importance of life over death, the importance of brotherhood over political differences, maybe this unfortunate legacy would continue. But we can only hope and pray things get better, because 5 families tonight, including Chandranath Rath, are suffering. While we may report on them, while you may choose to play politics over that, but 5 families are now longing for their loved ones and equally longing for justice. Question is, will justice be finally delivered, or the questions be finally answered? Jai Hind, Satyameva Jayate.